SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Did you know Toyota of Brookhaven has sold more new vehicles the last 2 years than any other dealership in Southwest Mississippi? Come see why. Exit 40 Brookhaven or online at ToyotaBrookhaven.com. Great service, great savings. At Toyota of Brookhaven, we deliver.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man, way past 21.
Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Glad to have you along for the ride today. Thanks for making us part of your morning routine, whether you jump on board right now or if it's the folks that tune in a little bit later in the morning. We appreciate you being part of the conversation every day. The C Spire text line is open to you, 601-879-4395, 601-879-4395. Right now at C Spire, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com today. Mornings is presented by Community Bank, online at communitybank.net. Community Bank, rooted in our community. I'm Richard Cross alongside Lance Tolbert. Good morning, Lance.
What's up, my man? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you as well.
It was a Cinco de Mayo. It's like taco day today. You going to get you a 6-pack of tacos and some yellow waters? And
we are a legitimate Taco Tuesday.
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect. May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Taco Tuesday, all on the same day. How often does that happen? That's when the stars are lined up right.
Well, I started to say once a year, but I guess that's not true. I mean, Cinco de Mayo and May the 5th are the same day every year. But it being on a Tuesday doesn't happen that way every time.
I'm not one of those calendar math whizzes, so I'm going to guess that it's every blue moon. Like every few years or something.
I mean, it would be, every 7, but then the leap year kind of messes that up a little.
There you go.
So, yeah,
take full advantage of it today, man.
Today is also, we're not quite to birthdays yet, but, since we're talking Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 16 years ago today, I became a dad.
Today?
Ed Montgomery. Yeah. Sweet 16. I have a Cinco de Mayo daughter, so I don't think she's up yet, but happy birthday to her. I suppose.
That's the oldest, correct?
Yeah, that's the oldest. That is the oldest. 16 years old, man. It goes fast.
I think you and my brother-in-law and sister are about on the same schedule there.
Yeah.
But 16.
Yeah, we're 16, 13, and 8, almost 9.
It's a good spread there.
It is. It is 2.5 years to the day between the first two, and then Francis is about 4 years behind.
Yeah, my sister and I are 4 years apart. What are you and your brother?
5.5.
5.5. Okay.
Yeah.
And is he the older? Mm-mm. Oh, so you?
No, I was born in November of 80, and then he was born in July of 86.
I'd love to hear some good brotherly love stories. Some games in the yard.
To ask him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I bet. Yeah.
Well, I'll give the best recent story. He and his family live in Dallas, outside of Dallas. And 2 years ago, we were at SEC Media Days, and for Sports Talk Mississippi in the afternoons. And Brian Haydad and Borky and Houston and I and a couple of others were going to dinner. And I invited Paul to come join us. And he came in, and we were kind of standing around waiting on a table, and Borky, like, his mouth hits the ground. He's like, "Man, y'all look alike." He's like, "I mean, Paul, you look exactly like Richard if he exercised. It's like, well done.
Yeah. That's
Well done. Yeah, so he's probably a little better shape than I am.
Mm-hmm. They're younger, too, though, so it's a lot easier when you're younger, as they say.
Well, works at it a little more, too. It's kind of makes a difference. So, enough about my family other than to say happy birthday to Ava Montgomery. I hope the day is spectacular for you. Really proud of the young woman that she is becoming. Very kind, very sweet.
And we learned
grateful for that.
And we learned that you have a doppelganger.
Well,
a related one, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Tupelo, you've got 78 degrees, and it's going to be a mix. Mostly cloudy today, partly cloudy at times. There is a chance of a thunderstorm later on this afternoon. Overnight lows around 60 degrees. Going to be breezy. Man, it was windy yesterday. Did the wind blow big time in Jackson?
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, pretty day. Gusty.
It felt wonderful outside. We played in a fundraiser golf tournament for Regents yesterday. And, man, the wind conditions it was getting after it.
Long drive day.
Well.
Or short drive, yeah.
You know, it was one of those days where it felt like at some point the wind is going to be at our back, right? No, we're not just going to hit shots into the wind the entire day, but anyway, it was fun. Alligator, Mississippi. 81 degrees for you today, partly to mostly cloudy. Chance of some thunderstorms, showers, isolated.
Home of the great
Matthew Duff.
There you go, man.
Yeah. I was talking about him with somebody a couple of days ago. Pretty good football player, I think, in addition to being what turned into be a big leaguer.
Oh, yeah. Great hunter, too.
Yeah. Has found a way to make a living playing baseball and hunting.
Yeah. That's the life there.
There are a lot of people that would say your existence in life is pretty good. 81 degrees today in Macon. Cloudy, partly sunny, warm. Chance of those afternoon thunderstorms. It's going to be breezy this morning in Macon. How about for our friends in Kill, Mississippi, down in the southern part of the state near the Mississippi Gulf Coast? 82 degrees, cloudy, at least in the morning, and then some sunshine this afternoon. Humid with a low chance of precipitation. Warmer and more humid than most of the rest of the state today in Kill. That is your forecast. Just some little sample spots from across the state. Karl Marx was born on this day in 1818, the German philosopher, economist, and author of the Communist Manifesto. It's interesting, he is described as one of the most influential thinkers in history. A lot of bad thoughts, I think.
Well, I mean...
Not a good person, right?
No, yeah, I mean, and a great two-tone, you know.
Jeez. Yeah. Adele was born on this day in 1988, the British singer and songwriter with the powerhouse voice with hits like Rolling in the Deep and Hello. She's won multiple Grammys. Adele's great. What was she did the soundtrack for Skyfall, didn't she? James Bond?
Yeah, you got me on that.
Well, you're a James Bond
I am.
guy.
I have no idea on the musicians for the Bond music, you know. It sounds right, though. Yes.
I
don't quite remember.
I am 97.8% sure that Adele did Skyfall.
I'm sure. Yeah, but that's I think Skyfall, the music sheet was done by Adele. Yeah, definitely. Okay. You nailed it, man.
C-Spire text line open to you. Somebody else said yes. Great. Henry Cavill, the British actor famous for playing Superman, Geralt in The Witcher, and having roles in Mission Impossible. Born on this day in 1983.
The best movie he's done, to me, is The Man from U.N.C.L.E., if you hadn't seen that, the remake of that with Crazy Man, what's his name, Armie Hammer. Yeah, the remake of The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but it's Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer, the lunatic, the one that was eating people or something. But yeah, great movie though, nonetheless.
Nellie Bly was born in 1864, the pioneering American investigative journalist known for her undercover work and a record-breaking trip around the world. Soren Kierkegaard, born in 1813, the Danish philosopher and theologian, often called the father of existentialism.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm sure, Michael, Lance, you have studied that a great deal.
I just love the Scandinavian names. They're so strong and awesome. Like Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard.
Like a bunch of A's in there.
Soren with the little line through the...
Yeah, all kind of stuff going on in there.
Michael Palin, born 1943. He was part of Monty Python. James Beard, the chef and author, born in 1903. And again, Ava Montgomery Cross, celebrating 16 years today.
Woohoo! Happy birthday,
sweet girl. Take a time out. We're back with you. Just getting started on this Tuesday morning, May the 5th. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi.
From the Venable Glass.
Since you're up early, you get the news first. Back to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi and the SuperTalk app.
Just give me life this morning down on Parchment Falls. Just give me life this morning down on Parchment Falls. I wouldn't hate it so bad, but I left my wife and mom.
Pleasure being with you. It is Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Mornings is presented by Community Bank, online at communitybank.net. Jeff in Grenada says we lost David Allen Coe last week, so Willie and Dolly are all that we have left. Well, I mean, we've got lots of other musicians left. That's two pretty significant ones. Dolly Parton having some health issues. I love Dolly. I mean, everybody loves Dolly. It is hard for me to listen to her talk for an extended period of time. She had about a 5-minute video that she posted online yesterday, and her, I mean, it's Southern, but it's over the top, like hee-haw Southern. And she just seems like as kind a person as she could possibly be, but she kind of rolls in mama and grandma sayings and silly and makes jokes about her body and all of it. She's a trip. Said she was dealing with some, said she's had big kidney stone problems all her life, but was dealing with digestive and some other issues and was healing, and went into great detail comparing herself to an old classic car. Dolly's one of a kind now.
Did she pick a car?
No. It was not. It was not specific. Just saying that, the mechanic went under the hood, and the radiator was running hot, and the air filter needed to be changed, and there was a bum tire, and obviously that's not really under the hood, but she just went on and on and on with the example. And it's like, okay, we get it. There's stuff wrong. So Dolly's great, though. And, of course, so is Willie. We talked about Willie Nelson last week. His birthday days of celebration. It's a good way to do it if you can. Kublai Khan was born on... No, I'm sorry. He became the ruler on this day of the Mongol Empire. Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, he became later the founder of the Yuan dynasty in China.
I mean, when you're the grandson of Genghis Khan, you better have a good name. And Kublai Khan, that sounds pretty strong.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Christopher Columbus sighted and landed in Jamaica on his second voyage to the New World, claiming it for Spain.
And then we got Rastafarian music.
He was born in 1490, or this happened in 1494, and he missed staying at the Sandals Jamaica just by a year or two. It's couples only.
Yeah, I think it was a man-only voyage there.
Well, that was the other issue. In 1789, the Estates General convenes in France for the first time in 175 years. It was a key early event leading to the French Revolution. In 1862, the Battle of Puebla. Mexican forces, outnumbered by the French army of Napoleon III, achieved a surprising victory. This is now celebrated as Cinco de Mayo, a major holiday symboling resistance to foreign domination. Is there irony in the fact that Cinco de Mayo is celebrated more in the United States than it is in Mexico?
It may be. We found a way to monetize it better. But the one thing about France is there another country out there that so many people celebrate getting rid of? Or beating. France had a run there. But, I mean, I don't know if there's another country that's lost as many big wars and how many countries out there like, yeah, thank God we got rid of them.
Yeah.
Woo, done with them.
They're like,
great culture, though.
Shock. Yeah. Thank you for the fries. Now get out.
Oh, now.
Hogman says East Tennessee has a different language.
Yes.
It's fair. Mo says, Richard's also hard to listen to Adele talk for too long. Yeah, see that. 1893, you had the Wall Street crash, the Panic of 1893 beginning, leading to a severe economic depression in the United States. In 1904, Cy Young pitched the first perfect game of the modern era. He did it in a game between the Boston Americans and the Philadelphia Athletics.
I bet he was in a good mood, too.
Was he ever?
No, that's my point. I don't think he ever was.
Yeah. If ever there was a day for it, that would be it.
That might have been it, though.
In 1961, Alan Shepard became the first American in space, completing a 15-minute suborbital flight aboard Freedom 7. And it was today in 1973, some 52 years ago?
Yeah, I'm 51 and born in 74, so that was easy math.
Okay.
For me.
Thank you. Secretariat won the Kentucky.
Kentucky, I like that.
That's at the Thursdays are at the Derby now are actually called Thurbies, so they just roll it all into one. The Kentucky Derby, the all-time record, 159 4/10, on his way to the Triple Crown, the fastest horse in the history of the world.
Oh, amazing! Love the story and the history, but having a brother-in-law who's like I was told, his relative, Uncle Lucien Loren, knows the trainer, and the Disney film 2010 Secretariat, played by John Malkovich. That's pretty cool,
Absolutely,
sir.
Absolutely. If John Malkovich can play your character, then you have you have done something.
Yes, sir.
I said fastest in the history of the world. I suppose that should be clarified with among racing horses.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that horse that Paul Revere was on was probably moving pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't know if they were clocking that one, but
I don't know.
He was beelining it though, that's for sure.
Napoleon Bonaparte died in exile on this day in 1821. Robert F. Kennedy assassinated in Los Angeles this day in 1968, shortly after winning the California primary.
And even to this day, Sirhan, always said he didn't remember doing it.
No.
Don't know what happened.
Let's get to some news headlines. Yesterday was a banner day. Banner day, Lance. Was, if not directly called, inferred, highly inferred that I/we were racist. We got that message late in the show yesterday.
Yeah, I remember that.
JT sent me a message from X yesterday afternoon with a video clip from the show, one of the video clips that you put together where we were talking about redistricting. And just kind of I don't think there was a strong opinion about it, just kind of laying out the potential pitfalls. We got RC as a flaming lib.
You can be a racist and a lib at the same time, I guess.
Well, they don't really want you to think that. They'd rather not, right? Mm-hmm. Because you would laugh and be like, oh, well, opposite ends of the spectrum. And then you dig a little deeper and you're like, well, the Southern Poverty Law Center would like a word. And you're like, oh, yeah, wait. Oh, no, maybe those aren't opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
I never remembered, after listening through that, I definitely didn't see or hear anything that come across as racist to me. I mean, you're dealing with an issue of black and white districts. That's,
no. Yeah,
I didn't
I
see
think
it.
It was a general thing. I don't think it was anything specific about yesterday, and I've been called a lot of things, many of which were deserved. We were on the golf course, and I was like, hey, y'all, get a load of this. I'm a flaming lib. They're like, huh? Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
We got news headlines for you. We got a sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort coming in just a couple of minutes as well. Did you hear about the fight at the ballpark in Starkville? No. We're not talking Duty Noble. No. Much smaller than that. Arrests have been made. I'll give you the rundown coming up next. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi, in the Pearl River Resort studio. Back right after this.
From theseabrook.com
with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi and the SuperTalk app.
Right now at C Spire, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com today. Richard, maybe you could go for flaming libertarian. I mean, there might be some libertarian views in there, but I don't think I'm a flaming anything. Yeah, we'll see. A sheriff's deputy and a baseball umpire have been arrested following a fight at a youth baseball tournament in Starkville. The incident took place on Sunday after a game at the Cornerstone Sports Complex, with a parent capturing the entire altercation on video. Starkville Police Department confirmed to the dispatch that Tibaha County Deputy Lieutenant Daryl Holly, a coach for a local 14U Sports Performance Center select team, and Jeff Akins, an umpire for the tournament, were arrested on misdemeanor charges. Tensions flared after the game and elevated when Holly seemed to get physical with the umpire Akins while the two were arguing. A retaliatory shove from Akins seemed to send this thing to the boiling point. Punches were thrown, and a player who reportedly was Holly's son also got in on the action. Now, he wasn't really fighting as much as he was just sucker punching. Officials eventually stepped in to break up the violent encounter. What prompted the altercation has not been established by law enforcement or tournament officials, or at least has not been publicly released. This was a tournament that was run by Grand Slam. The state director, Mike Narmore, said he's assessing the incident, but that Grand Slam unequivocally condemns the events that played out on Sunday, and noted that those involved in the fight will be banned from all future tournaments. Starkville police are continuing to investigate the altercation.
Yeah, you know, it's probably good to leave your sippy cup full of wine in the car, you know. Those are not, you don't go to a ballpark, get lit and get in a fight, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, too, and you're like, good Lord, folks, get it together.
Lance, I'm not saying that there wasn't something like that involved, but we're talking about a coach and an umpire.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I've been to, I don't know about you, but just watching so many, like my nephew growing up, it's really a trip to see, you know, how much engagement you have from fans, and then also the give and take from the umpires back to the fans. I mean, it can get pretty heated, dude. It wasn't like that when I was a kid as much, you know. It wasn't quite as much give and take between the ump and the fans, but yeah, it gets heated. It's uncomfortable.
You know, there are some fans or parents or whatever that are looking for a fight,
yeah,
and you know, are trying to provoke. There's some that are just enraged by the incompetence of the game officials, and a lot of times they are. But man, I'm telling you, a lot of that falls on the shoulders of the umpire. A good umpire has the ability 95% of the time to diffuse a situation, whether it is with a coach, with players, or with a fan in the stands. Hot head up, no shot. I mean, I did it for years and years and years, and I never had an incident. I had one incident in Jackson, Tennessee that approached that. And thankfully, it didn't go beyond.
Usually the umps are pretty quick to make a decision on that stuff.
Yeah, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
It was like there's a way you can handle that without it going to the boiling point. Like,
yeah,
the ability to diffuse in that situation is really important. Hey, by the way, great example. Umpire and coach throwing haymakers, locking up, and son jumping in with sucker punches on the umpire, and then once dad who's a sheriff's deputy, you make it make sense.
It can't.
Dad's got ump on the ground, and they're wailing on each other, and here comes Sonny Boy, allegedly, from the side, and who's starts swinging.
So the
somebody
coach
says, maybe if you don't play on Sunday and prioritize church, this wouldn't be news. Well, against the grain, I don't think the day of the week has anything to do with this particular incident, though I agree with you, and I understand travel baseball tournaments are big business. So is Chick-fil-A. We don't have to play on Sundays. And I'm not one of these people who's like, oh, well, it's the Sabbath, and you should. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you should sit inside in the dark and do nothing on Sundays. That is not my intent at all. And I would be fine if you even said, hey, no games before noon on Sunday or whatever. Making families and kids have to actively choose between attending a church service and playing in a game that they have to play in because, look, this is the third week of May. And if we win this weekend, we qualify for the double gold, triple diamond, international, regional, sectional World Series. Mm-hmm. This is a qualifier tournament for that. We cannot miss this game. Okay? So you're just going to have to understand that before you start telling me that we shouldn't be playing tournaments on Sundays. Now, if it weren't for that, then we could have a conversation about it. And oh, by the way, in addition to being a qualifier for the double gold, triple diamond, national, regional, sectional World Series, there is also a $7 it almost looks real ring on the line.
Oh, yeah. You got to get size for that.
And there might be a medal also. Governor Tate Reeves is holding off on making his appointments to a legislature-created authority board intended to eventually run the city of Jackson's water system following the federal judge's decision to put the authority on hold for the time being. This story. It's like there's one new detail every day.
It's just a wrinkle.
State of emergency in August of 2022. Legislature, after the federal government takes it over, says, hey, this is the system we're going to use to run it going forward. Jackson doesn't like it under the leadership of Mayor Horn. And they go to a judge, and the judge says, yeah, probably can't do that, state. And so now we're all just standing around waiting. Tate Reeves, to his credit, said yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the 120,000 residents of Jackson deserve to never have this happen again. That's why we're trying to put an oversight group in place to make sure that it never happens again. One more for you. A new report from the Legislative Budget Office yesterday showed that total revenue collections for the month of April, better than expected. Nearly $65 million in revenue above estimates. That's about 6.4%. LBO report also showed that the state of Mississippi has taken in almost $185 million or 3% more this fiscal year than was estimated. That's with 2 months remaining. It's always a good feeling. Hey, I think I'm going to make this year. Then you get to the spot where you got a couple of months remaining, you're like, man, I'm ahead of pace. We finished this thing out strong and have a little more than I realized. Full-year state revenue estimate for Mississippi, $7.552 billion. You may remember that the legislature revised that down by about $75 million back last November prior to the start of the session. Might have been just on the money if they had left the original estimates in place. So that's good news. We got a lot of your messages coming in. We are glad to take them on the Flaming Libs C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. Not to confuse Flaming Libs and C Spire. That's not the same thing. They don't really... Look, they recognize that both Republicans and Democrats buy phones, use internet. Not pushing that down the throat. Just want to help you communicate the best you can. I hope I didn't just get myself in trouble. We're back after this. Mornings with Richard Cross.
From the Venable.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi and the SuperTalk app.
Money, money, money. Time for your Mississippi Lottery update. Brought to you by the Mississippi Lottery online at mslottery.com. That is mslottery.com. Jackpot tomorrow night for Powerball, up to $30 million. Nice little $10 million bump after one drawing. No winner in last night. After having the two winners split the relatively small jackpot on Saturday, I believe it was. Mega Millions, $195 million in the kitty tonight for an $86.3 million cash value. You got time to get your tickets still? You got hours and hours to get your tickets. That'd be a nice little win. Don't you think, Lance?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take one for the team, you know.
Yeah. But somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, somebody's got to win it.
$86.3 million, so that'd be what? Probably...
Take home about 35, 40, maybe?
No, you do better than that. You do better than 50%. It's about 59%.
Okay, yeah. I am not a tax specialist.
Well, I mean... You're at roughly 4% state income tax, and that's declining yearly. And then you're going to be popped in that 37% bracket. About 41% tax on the $86.3 million. If you got a really good tax attorney, you can probably do better than that.
Well, I definitely would be hiring one.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. I'm not doing that on TurboTax.
You're going to charge me $50,000 to do this work? Yeah, but I'm going to save you $3 million. Sold!
I'm in. I know how that works.
Can I hire two of you? Yeah, so $86.3 million, the estimated cash value for Mega Millions tonight. Hey, get ready to spin big. The Mississippi Lottery is rolling out 3 new Wheel of Fortune scratch-off games this May. Tickets start at just $2. You can play your way up to the top prizes of $200,000, plus multipliers and instant wins on every ticket. The excitement doesn't stop there. Enter your non-winning tickets into the Mississippi Lottery's Second Chance promotion for a shot at more than $250,000 in cash and prizes, and a chance to win a trip to Los Angeles for a real Wheel of Fortune experience. Play today, and you could be the next big winner. Learn more by downloading the app or visiting mslottery.com.
Have you ever done a game show or anything? Like been on one?
No, but I wanted to host one.
You'd be a good one.
That's what I really...
That was what you were out for. Game show host.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the game? What any
Didn't
of
matter.
them? Okay, I didn't know if you had one in mind that you had rehearsed in the mirror, like you were,
No, let's see. What was it? 7th grade science class, if I remember correctly. I believe the teacher, it was earth science. I believe the teacher was Ms. DeBoard. And... we sat at tables in there, not desks, and we fairly regularly had like group projects where we would, present some topic to the class. And my go-to suggestion for our table was, let's do a game show.
Ah.
Of course, I would be the host.
No doubt.
Well, but it's just what I wanted to do. I mean, I was trying to rig the whole thing.
Exactly.
Where,
You're setting it up right. Got to control the angles of that.
That was generally well received by the teacher, though. Mr. Board liked the game show thing. Never, or at least to this point, it hasn't quite worked out.
Yeah, we could figure one out. A SuperTalk game show.
Yeah.
Once a month,
Big prizes?
Yeah, of course. I'll go out and raise get the prizes lined up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, all things that are relevant, of course, to a good Mississippi person.
We got to do something, Lance. We got to do a sports update.
Yeah.
Because our friends at Pearl River Resort say that we need to do that every single morning. The morning sports update brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Actually, I say we should, and they just are along for the ride, which we appreciate very much. Family fun, casino thrills, live entertainment, and championship golf, all at Pearl River Resort.
Can't wait for this first story, though.
D1 Baseball's Top 25 is out. The newest version of it, UCLA, still number one. No surprise there. They have been it for wire to wire. Texas is at 4, Georgia 5, Auburn 6, A&M 9, Mississippi State 11, Southern Miss 12, Arkansas 17, Alabama 19, Ole Miss 20, Florida 21, Oklahoma 24. The Southeastern Conference will implement a challenge system for balls and strikes on an experimental basis for each game of the 2026 SEC baseball tournament in Hoover. System will permit teams to challenge an umpire's strike or ball call via an automated ball tracking system that monitors the exact location of each pitch relative to the specific batter's strike zone. For the tournament, each team will have 3 challenges to start the game. If you get it right, you retain the challenge. If the original call is confirmed, you lose that challenge. Upon a challenge, the pitch location will be compared against the electronic strike zone. The result will then be displayed on the stadium's video board and the television broadcast. It's what Major League Baseball has done. It has been well received. We will see what it looks like in college baseball.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
On your radio, on our app, or on your smart speaker. We're always free. SuperTalk Mississippi, your home for Mornings with Richard Cross.
Hour. Welcome once again. It is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm and SuperTalk TV. It's all presented by Community Bank. At Community Bank, we're more than just a place to manage your money. We're your neighbors, your partners, and your trusted financial advisors for decades. We've been rooted in our community, helping families, small businesses, and individuals achieve their dreams. Whether it's opening your first savings account, planning for a brighter future, or growing your business, we're here every step of the way. We're dedicated to our customers, committed to your success, and always here when you need us. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. We appreciate you spending part of your Tuesday morning with us. Today is May 5th, 2026. Thomas says it's a Super Taco Tuesday. Can't get the regular hard shell today. Got to go with the Supreme.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Got to go Taco Supreme today.
I'm definitely hitting mine up today. I'm going to get a couple Barrillas, get the Barilla juice, the consomme.
Let me ask you this.
Picadilla.
Serious question about Cinco de Mayo. When you hear people say that Valentine's Day proper, like a date on Valentine's Day, is actually kind of amateur night. Like the people that really know go the day before, the weekend before, you got to be careful the day after because it makes it look like you forgot. Do you actually celebrate on Cinco de Mayo and fight the crowds at your favorite local cantina or Mexican restaurant as a way to celebrate? Do you fight the crowds or do you go, nope, that's amateur hour. Not getting into the fray. Not worth waiting in line. And you hold off. Sounds to me, Lance, like you are all in, be it May 5th or whatever.
Yeah, see, I don't, being a solo act, man, I can go plop down at a bar somewhere.
There you go. Makes a difference.
Much. But I have a little hole-in-the-wall place that I love around here that I'll probably hit after I get off, and it's never busy at lunch. So go in there and kind of have a free run of the place for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And
a lot of Mexican options where we are. A lot of options. Kind of narrowed it down. We got 2. Kind of on opposite sides of town. We do El Agave on the west side of town.
Excellent.
My guy from New Albany.
Yeah.
who man,
buffet
what a great business he's built.
Man,
just
the one
fantastic, super.
The one in New Albany, man. The buffet on Saturday or I think it was Sunday. Mm-hmm. Go out of the way just to go to that thing.
And then El Charo on the other side of town, over on Sisk, which
that's like nostalgia too, because El Charo was the place when we were there. Yeah,
but it was the original.
The original.
It was the original in Oxford. Unless you want to go back to the kind of the Spanish Caribbean restaurant that was on Jackson Avenue, little hole in the wall. It was called Don. Oh, Lance, El Charo was not the original in Oxford.
Okay, well, it was for me because I got there.
Predating you.
Okay, 80s, 90s range. Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s, University Avenue. At the corner that is now across from the place where I get my hair cut. It used to be kind of directly across the street from the Fabric Center.
Okay.
Somebody that lives in Oxford remembers the name of, it was, golly. Oh. Somebody's going to have to help me out here. So two. The one that was on Jackson Avenue across from the Exxon station. Hole in the wall, kind of Spanish, Caribbean, Mexican, all rolled into one. And then the one on University Avenue in the building on the corner. I just have blanked on names.
Yeah, back then you could pull off you have 3 or 4 different, style cuisines. It wasn't Dino's, was it?
No,
I know it wasn't Dino's.
Dino's was pizza. Come on.
No, we just had, somebody threw that out. I was like, it wasn't Dino's because that's pizza.
No, Dino's was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Dino's was on Jackson Avenue.
Yeah,
not University.
Pizza. The old
Pizza
Den was over there off of University.
I was on University Avenue.
Yeah,
sure. I'll come up with a name at some point. You want to throw old school Oxford restaurant name?
Cafe Olé. Yes,
that's
thank
it.
you. Yes,
well done.
That brings it back right.
Well done.
I love it.
Cafe Olé.
And Don Poncho.
Yeah, Don Poncho's not the name
Dan
of the. The place on Jackson Avenue, it was like small hole in the
Cafe
wall.
Olé, that was it.
Cafe Olé on University Avenue was the original Oxford Mexican restaurant. And then El Charo followed it in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's an El Charo on Lakeland down here. Same owner group.
Yeah,
we used to wear it out in Oxford, then come home for vacation, and we'd go to El Charo here.
There you go.
Same thing.
Just perfect.
Yeah.
Iran is playing an interesting game. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate the note. That was a great pull on Cafe Olé. I think I would have gotten there, but I was going to have to do some memory exercises to start connecting the dots. That is outstanding.
Good stuff.
I wish that I had a prize to give you. You know what we need to do?
We
need to get some Mornings of Richard Cross coffee mugs that we have the ability to, from time to time, say, thanks, you deserve a coffee mug.
There you go.
You think we can get that approved on...
You never know. It's definitely worth a try, isn't it?
Yeah. We'll have to check in with management on that.
Can't get a yes without asking.
Do the Mornings with Richard Cross logo on one side, and then do the SuperTalk logo on the other.
I just want to see a picture of you sipping out of the Augusta cup on the actual coffee cup. That's the image we need. Ooh. Yeah, see Richard sipping the Augusta cup on the coffee cup you're giving away.
In the not too distant future, my kids' artwork coffee cups are going away, and they're going to be replaced by Yobi coffee cups.
Woo, what now?
Yeah.
What's a Yogi or Yobi?
Yobi. Yoby.
I use I drink
Details coming.
Yeah. I drink my coffee out of a Solo cup at home and a Styrofoam cup here.
Mm-hmm. No, the Yobi. It's the new ice cream froyo coffee spot coming to.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More information to come.
You guys are living the good life.
I have so many things that we need to talk about right now, and we're talking about coffee shops and
giveaways, man.
And can we give coffee cups away and Cafe Olé? Let's just go back to this. Somebody said we were way more interested in the Rebel Barn than any restaurant.
Me too. Love the drive-through.
Yeah.
Nothing like a drive-through beer place.
How about this? Before I moved from Clarksdale 25 years ago, there was a morning show there that gave away prizes for trivia. Oh, man. High school? My favorite thing in the mornings, God rest his soul, Stan Sandroni.
Oh, love Stan.
Friend, colleague here at SuperTalk, Mississippi, sales at the local radio station for a long time. This was back when, it's probably when SuperTalk owned the station, but certainly when David Kellum and Jack Gadd and Russ Lamb still owned the station in Oxford. Morning show, Stan Stumper.
Stan Stumper.
Stan used to have a morning trivia question in the 7 o'clock hour. So this was, listening to the radio at breakfast before we left for school. I think it was about 10 after 7, give or take. Maybe a little bit later than that. And, it could be anything. All over the place. Sports trivia question. And there were T-shirts. And if you were the caller that called in and answered the question correctly, then you got a Stan Stumper T-shirt. And on the front, it was a big caricature head of Stan Sandroni.
I think I remember the T-shirt.
With a microphone or a headset, and on the back it said, I stumped Stan.
I think I remember that
Or
shirt.
I won Stan Stumper or something along those lines.
Man, you could catch him holding court at the Daily News, man, and get in there and have a good time listening to some stories.
Oh, man, Daily News.
Yeah, you remember that? If I wanted to find Stan, that's where I'd go.
Those sandwiches were spectacular.
Yes.
Spectacular.
No doubt.
I still see Carol from time to time.
Yeah, good people. Good people.
Yeah. At some point, we should talk about what's going on in Iran. Iran is flirting with disaster. We'll get to that at some point. But next, we will visit with Sid Salter, political analyst, been around the politics scene in Mississippi. I'm really anxious to talk with Sid. His thoughts on redistricting and other things. Back with you after this. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi.
Where you come first for news. Fast and free. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
And talking in your sleep. Doesn't matter where you've been. As long as it was deep, yeah. You always knew to wear it well.
Good to be with you this morning. I think the answer to the old Spanish Caribbean hole-in-the-wall restaurant that we were discussing is Don Pancho's. I think.
It sounds right to me.
I think.
It rings the bell.
But I'm working to verify that. Glad to be with you this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross. This hour of the show presented by MWG Employer Services. Running a business is tough, and if you're struggling with HR, benefits, and payroll, you're not alone. That's where MWG Employer Services comes in. They can provide a full range of employer services, plus a custom plan that fits you. Give them a call today, 601-206-7966, or go to MWGEmployerServices.com. C-Spire text line open, 601-879-4395. Happy to welcome in our first guest this morning, Sid Salter, my friend, longtime political analyst, political observer, political journalist in the state of Mississippi and Washington, D.C., and a high-ranking official at Mississippi State University. High-ranking official. And there is a significant controversy, Sid, that is happening right now that we're very, very close to in the state of Mississippi, and I need your opinion on it. Neshoba County Fair a month earlier this year. We going to be okay with this?
Well, we don't have a lot of choice but to be okay with this. It is.
I don't know if that's a controversy, by the way. I'm sure for some it is.
Well, it is going to reset the political impact of the fair. Just timing. One of the things that made the Neshoba County Fair, the preeminent whistle stop for political speakers is the proximity of the fair to, the voting in August. obviously a lot more runway open now, and so we'll see how that goes. From the standpoint of bursting into flame during the event, this may be a vast improvement. So if the mornings will be like today, then we're going to be glad we did it.
That will certainly be lovely. And just practically, with the way the calendar has changed for so many educators, you got so many teachers and kids who are headed back to school. School was starting before the fair was over for a lot of people, and that kind of made it difficult.
Well, if you can't have your kids and grandkids, the fair loses some luster. So I think it was absolutely the right decision by Scott Bounds and the rest of the fair board. It is, the fair is a place where change doesn't come easily. So there will be some push and shove, I think. But ultimately, I think it will be good for the fair and good for the patrons of the fair. And so we'll see.
I had no intention of talking to you about the Neshoba County Fair, but thought we could have some fun with it. This year, and specifically next year, it feels to me have the chance to provide the most political theater that we have had since Kirk Fordyce, maybe?
I think that's an accurate scenario in that you've got a lot of contenders in a gubernatorial campaign, at least potential contenders. And, these are not going to be necessarily party-on-party contests. These are going to be folks down the bench from you. So, I think it's going to be a hot fair with some of the contenders who are already in, and with some who may enter. But I think this sets up, as you suggest, to be perhaps the most contentious since Fordyce Malpas.
I'm going to ask you to do something that might make you uncomfortable. I want you to assign percentages for me here. So we know right now that Andy Gibson is in. He was the first one to jump in. We know that no, I'm not talking about for a winner. We know that Philip Gunn is in. I'm talking about as we fill this candidate pool out, what do you think the percentage chance is that Lynn Fitch jumps into the race? Everybody has said that's going to happen.
I might as well lick my finger and stick it to the wind.
Okay.
I don't see a necessary downside for her getting in, but there are already a couple of candidates that are going to have substantial resources, maybe more. I think it's going to get down to, as it always does, timing and what the war chest is at the time of the announcement. I don't think
she appears to be pretty well funded.
Have a problem in that area. She's stout, and so I think there will be other factors that determine that. Philip Gunn's entry was obviously significant. Will continue to be. Gibson, what the auditor does.
Well, I was going to say that's where I was headed. I was going to go Shad White next. More likely than not that he jumps in ultimately to the governor's race?
Who knows? Given the amount of social media, one would think. But, I learned a long time ago you can lose a crop prognosticating. So I think, as I said earlier, there's a large group of Republican contenders, and that is going to turn that primary into somewhat of a circular firing squad. So
the name, Sid, that has been talked about by more people than anybody else with this incredible deal of curiosity is Tommy Duff as well. Do you have a gut feeling one way or the other at this point for as long as he's been talked about without an official announcement? Remembering that we're still over a year from Election Day, well over a year.
I think it's probably too early to make that prognostication. I will say this. I've seen him on the stump twice. There is an ease about him when he's talking about policy that is impressive. And I think his service on the College Board has, really beefed up his appreciation for the whole of state government. That said, in conversations I've had with him, he has not he's not signaled his intent, and I would do him and everyone else a disservice to do much guessing about that. I think he would be a credible candidate if he ran.
I feel like this is a time that's important to point out that Sid Salter's full-time job is Strategic Communications and Director of Public Affairs at Mississippi State. Do you hear how carefully he crafts these answers to the questions that I ask him? Doesn't want to paint himself into a corner. You've been doing this for too long.
Well, yeah.
I mean that as a compliment. I think the world of you, Sid. Let's start this. Well, I feel like we're going to need to carry this into the next segment if you've got time to do it. This redistricting conversation in Mississippi is incredibly fascinating. In either your most recent or a couple of columns ago, you wrote a lot about the history of the Voting Rights Act, about 1964, about 1965, about the 14th Amendment, and obviously with the ruling that came down last week in Louisiana versus Calais, we are at a place where things could look a lot different, not just for Mississippi, but for the Southeast and the United States in the coming years, depending on what states do over the next 2 years.
Without question, it is uncharted constitutional territory in many senses, because in Mississippi and other states, we're looking at the possibility of invalidating primary results to engage in do-overs if that is the will of the legislature. We're coming up on break, but there's a lot to unpack here. And so, I think it will spill over into the next segment, and I'll be glad to stay.
All right, so let's do that. Sid Salter is my guest. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Quick reminder that you can join the conversation on the C Spire text line. With C Spire, it's easier than ever to get all the devices you want in one move with the Ultimate Connect bundle. Right now, new and current customers can get a free phone, watch, and tablet, plus 100 gigs of data for just $90. That includes the new iPhone 17 and Samsung Galaxy S26 for free, and a free smartwatch and tablet to go with it. So don't wait. There's more to see. Visit cspire.com or stop by your local C Spire store today. We will take a timeout. We're back with Sid Salter, longtime political analyst in Mississippi, has his finger on the pulse of politics in the Magnolia State and at the national level as well, and communications director at Mississippi State. It's not the official title, but that's what he does. We're back with you right after this on MRC.
You're in love with me.
From the Seabrook.
This segment of Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Where you come first for news. Fast and free. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Good to be with you. It is Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Sid Salter is my guest, Vice President, Strategic Communications at Mississippi State. He has also been around the political landscape in Mississippi for many years, and a really great encyclopedia of knowledge of some of our state's history in terms of politics and how it is shaped out. And I think we are at a crossroads. I don't know if it's a crossroads, but certainly a significant junction in what the state looks like going forward. Sid, this decision, and I referenced it before the break, Louisiana versus Calais, that ruled the second voting district in Louisiana as unconstitutional, that opens the door for redistricting not only in Louisiana but in Mississippi. So our situation is just a touch unique. The governor's already called a special election, but it's actually about redistricting Supreme Court districts. But now it feels like there is this push to widen the special session to look at last year's redistricting that cost a supermajority in the Senate for Republicans, and also look at congressional redistricting to theoretically push Benny Thompson out of office in the 2nd District.
Yeah, all of that. And to be sure we're on the same page, there's Section 2 of the 14th Amendment, 1868. It replaced the 3/5 clause during that time period. And then 1965, there's Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Now, Section 2 across that century still pertain to the same thing. Both were written to make it more difficult for people to impede the voting rights of others on the basis of race and other qualifiers, but primarily race. And over that period of time after 1965, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was aimed squarely at the old Confederacy, southern states that were sort of predisposed to be more opposed to the extension of civil rights and voting rights. Okay. Now, Section 2, a fairly elastic piece of law in that, for the most part, Section 2 was used to protect the voting rights of black voters. In 2005, in one of the first cases anywhere in the United States, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was used to stop Ike Brown and other black Democrats in Knoxville County from violating the voting rights of white voters. So I guess one thing that I would point out sort of from the political science nerd corner is that this crossroads, as you call it, is just that, because we will make decisions here and there are many who can't see past the impact this has on Congressman Thompson's district. The fact of the matter is that whatever we come out of this juncture nationally and in Mississippi with is something we will live with. Now, demographers in the United States predict that our country will become majority minority, meaning that African Americans and non-white Hispanics will comprise a majority, and this would take place somewhere in the neighborhood of 2040, 2045. And so I'll be dozing in the home somewhere when this happens. You'll still be out there missing putts, but that this will be our reality, in that we're going to go forward with whatever interpretation of Section 2 we have, but when the mop flops and their demographers again say this is a virtual certitude, then we may be living, the current majority may be living with a set of rules they helped craft going into the future. So it's not as simple as people make it out to be, and there is a reason, I think, to be thoughtful in what we do with this and not focus it all on on one individual politician. I think you look at the future of our state. We have the largest African American population among the 50 states on a percentage basis, and so all of that matters. To the more immediate concern.
Let me interject before, if I may, okay, just for a second. I mentioned, we were talking about this yesterday, just kind of in practicality, and I thought it was a pretty level-headed conversation. I was told that I was a flaming lib for the way that I described it yesterday. If the legislature were to choose to go the route, perhaps at the direction of the governor, of redistricting, right now you're at 3-1. 3 Republican districts that are solidly Republican, and then obviously Benny Thompson's 2nd district that is solidly Democrat. If you go down this road, there is a very real opportunity, if it's done carefully, to get to 4-0. But don't you run the risk of also bringing 2-2 into play in what inevitably would create a couple of purple districts, even if you had a couple of really solid red districts still?
Without question, that is not only a possible outcome, it's a probable outcome. And so, again, be careful what you wish for, you might get it. And so,
flaming lib here, but,
Well, the fact that folks can count and that they understand percentages, there is a 3-1 Republican majority in our congressional House delegation right now, and we have a 40% black population in the state. And so things are not in dire circumstances for the GOP. But moving forward, as we careen toward the 2040s, the math can change. And I think that's the message. Russ Latino had a good piece this morning on this subject and the complexity of dealing with these issues. And so I would encourage people to give Russ's column a read, because there's a lot of factual material there. And, he may end up being the same, flaming lib you are, Richard, but the fact is
that seems a little unlikely, but,
I enjoyed that, but but the bottom line is, I think it's important that we exercise caution and good judgment and a measure of fairness in this. And again, if you base this solely on one individual, I think you missed the boat.
It has been fascinating to me to watch Mississippi come under the national microscope, whether it was when the governor initially called the special session and everybody was cheering. It's like, oh, yeah, Mississippi's going to do exactly what Virginia did, and we're going to show them. That was kind of that Republican online influencer crowd. And then now, frankly, with the president and others going, it is time, Mississippi, you have to do this, just like Alabama's doing it, just like Louisiana's doing it, just like Tennessee's trying to do it. Brian Kemp over in Georgia's like, yeah, we can't do that right now legally, but we'll get there eventually. And it's just not, I think you laid it out well. It's just more complicated than a surface level, we got the ruling, go do it.
Well, there's a lot of temptation for a gotcha, and that emanates from January 6th and all those things. My question would be, as a matter of constitutional law and as a matter of demographics, what is in our long-term best interest? And I think that's got to be a factor in what decisions our state makes. But I will be with you watching intently as we move forward.
Well, and to me, and we'll leave it here as we're just about out of time, the question that I think Republicans, the GOP in Mississippi, and frankly the governor, are left with is, given where we are and where we might be, is it worth taking the risk right now? And for a lot of people, the answer to that is absolutely it's worth the risk. And there are people that are a little more measured. They're going, things are pretty good and will be for the foreseeable future.
Again, not my role to get into that fray, except to say I do think it's important in all things in politics to play the long game.
Yeah.
And so the long game suggests a measure of caution as we move forward.
Sid, I always appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Richard.
Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. We're back after this.
Good morning from the Venable Glen.
From the heart of Mississippi to the halls of Washington, D.C., this is Mornings with Richard Cross, your source for hard-hitting political insight and unfiltered truth. Now, here's more on Super Talk, Mississippi.
All right, it genuinely does not bother me. The message we got yesterday on the C-Spire text line, some of you would think the opposite, that's fine. Or that somebody thinks I'm a flaming liberal on X. I am amused by them, but I do want to go back, and the person that suggested, as we were talking about the possibility of redistricting yesterday, that said not just I, but all of you who don't see the world this person sees it are a racist. It's not just that he called me racist. Thomas, he called you racist. Larry, he called you racist. Jason, J-Dub, Lance, you're all a bunch of racists, okay? Here was the rationale. This was yesterday morning on the C-Spire text line. Since you white Republicans hate black people, please cancel, disenroll, not accept any more black students and any other minority groups from Ole Reb, State, USM, and any other white school. It's about race and nothing else. Why you white people can't do what's best for everyone. He went on to say, all of the Confederate states will be doing what Louisiana is doing, all because of you racist people. You can't say it's not about race. I will continue listen at everything you say and watch what you do. And then when I brought up edge theory and narrative intelligence, and I think there were some of you like, Richard, what are you talking about? Like, we're talking about redistricting, and now we're talking about racism in Mississippi, and you want to bring China into the equation. Yeah. If you listen to the very first conversation we ever had on this radio program with Joe Stradinger for Edge Theory, and we talked about narrative intelligence and the story that is shaping the way we view things, you may remember Joe talking about the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis. And when you do a search through their AI tools and their back-end engine to go to the source of the messaging, which was about creating division, did not care which side of the water crisis issue you fell on, but wanted to create division. Joe told us, and he had the data to back it up, that many of the online divisive posts, messages, stories, things that were being shared, you know where they originated? Beijing. And that was the most mind-blowing thing to me because I had not spent any appreciable amount of time thinking about part of the psychological war piece, like the psyops that Chinese, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party are running against the United States. It's information campaigns. It's feeding into your sense of discord and creating that. That is going to happen again. Your grandmother reading Facebook and seeing the post from anonymous people on Facebook about how Mississippi is going to redistrict, whether it's like this guy, who knows, maybe this is a bot, I think it's a real person, telling us that we're racist, where he says, because of all you racist people, or it's somebody that's propping up the other side. It's about creating division. I'm not telling you that's everything. I'm telling you it's part of it. It's part of it. As we move toward this redistricting conversation, there is information that is being fed into all of your algorithms from the other side of the world, from communist China, to influence what you believe, how you feel about your fellow Mississippians. It's crazy. But it's real. I promise you it's real. As for you hate black people, no, I don't. And neither do most of the listeners on this radio program. And if you think you're going to trap me into be like, oh, well, let me tell you about my black friends, shut up. I'm not going to do that for you. I'm just going to remind you, as I've said a million times before, some of the greatest relationships in my life came from high school football and public school. And yes, it was a multiracial football team.
Your home from the heart of Mississippi to the halls of Washington, D.C. This is Mornings with Richard Cross, your source for hard-hitting political insight and unfiltered truth. Now, here's more on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Was a wealthy merchant in London, did dwell. He had a beautiful daughter, the truth.
Good morning once again to you. Thanks for joining us. This is the 8 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. We appreciate you being part of the conversation on the C Spire text line. The show is presented by Community Bank. We're here for every part of your financial journey. Looking to manage your personal finances? Our banking services make it simple, secure, and tailored to you. Ready to grow your business? We offer expert guidance and custom solutions to help your business thrive. Dreaming of a new home? Our mortgage specialists are here to make the process seamless, all designed with you in mind. We're more than just a bank. We're your partner for life's biggest moments. Community Bank, rooted in our community. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I am happy to welcome our next guest this morning, Dr. Leah Bennett, who is the administrator at Pine Grove Behavioral Health and Addiction Services, one of the special places in the state of Mississippi. And Dr. Bennett, I appreciate you joining us. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so it's top of mind, no pun intended, for a lot of people. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good to be here.
What's the focus for all of you this month when we talk about mental health awareness? Obviously, that is something that is dealt with on a daily basis at Pine Grove across the spectrum of patients that you have and the issues that people are dealing with. But in terms of awareness and making other people that are maybe not within inside the boundaries of your facility, what should people be thinking about, talking about?
You know, we really want people to understand that mental health is it's how you're functioning on a day-to-day basis, and it's something that impacts us all. And, you know, we oftentimes will focus on our heart health or our cardio health, but we don't really focus on our mental health. And it's just as important, because not only does it affect our functioning, but it also affects our work, our relationships, and quality of life. So mental health, there's a ton of stigma. I think that's what keeps people from reaching out. And at Pine Grove, we won't know that help is available. You don't have to suffer in silence and not get the help you need.
You said there is a stigma. Is currently there still a stigma, or is that a past tense thing? Because I feel like we talk about this so much more than we used to, and people are so much more willing to open themselves up, and yet we still see people who go to those dark places and feel like they don't have an outlet.
It's really sad. I think that there has been progress made, but it does still exist. And we see it all the time where people just delay and delay. They will see anxiety and depression as a weakness as opposed to a medical condition that I just need to get some help for. I mean, the earlier people reach out and get help, the faster they can get better. But it's still, that stigma still exists and slows people down for sure.
Is there a correlation when you talk about, the sooner you reach out being similar to, you said a heart condition a second ago. So like the early signs that, hey, I need to clean up the way I'm eating and I need to exercise more before you're sitting in a doctor's office and he's saying you have to have surgery tomorrow. If you'd taken care of things a little bit earlier, you don't get to the point, hopefully, where you're in such a bad spot.
Absolutely, because one of the things that you're working on early on is coping skills, right? You're learning how, and therapy can teach you how to cope and teach you some strategies early on. If you get further into it to where it's more of a crisis, there's a lot more to have to deal with and unpack. And so early mental health care can really teach you how to navigate the highs and lows of life. And getting that help really helps you buffer, just like eating a healthy diet helps you buffer lots of negative health outcomes in the future. So absolutely correlation.
I don't know exactly what the population breakdown is at Pine Grove between adults and children and teenagers, and I know you deal with ages kind of across the board. It is, I'll just say young people, I guess, and maybe that's kind of a catch-all category. Is that the demographic where mental health issues are growing the fastest?
I would say that they definitely are growing. In children, we're seeing much more, a lot of difficulties around anxiety, depression, irritability, emotional dysregulation, more so than we've ever had before. That's being driven by things like social media. There's a lot of pressure now around grades. There's always been that, but it seems to be increasing with all the expectations and family stress, just stress of the day-to-day. So children, I think, are experiencing a lot more than what you and I did growing up. And so we are seeing the impact of that and the growth of that in that population.
I feel like sometimes it's easy to make social media the boogeyman. And it's like the catch-all category for so much of our issues start with social media, whether it's X or Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever it is. Take me a little deeper, though, beyond just social media. When you talk about the pressures that young people are dealing with and what that looks like beyond just online.
I mean, I think that when you think about social media, one of the things that's so critical with that is looking at the comparison that they're always making of themselves to others, and not being able to live up or being able to be as good as, so that there's this constant message of comparison that occurs that can be very detrimental. There's also bullying online that happens. There are things that people, when you and I were growing up, it had to be said in person. There's a lot more that happens to where no one knows where it's coming from, and it's very public. And so that can be devastating for children and adolescents and what they're experiencing. And so you look at the complexities of what social media brings to a child's life or an adolescent's life, and that navigating those waters is extremely difficult. It's difficult for me as an adult to navigate all of that. So you think about someone whose brain is not fully developed and they're trying to figure all that stuff out, and it's extremely impactful to them. And I think what's driving a lot of what our problems are.
We're kind of right in the middle of it right now. I've got a daughter that's 16 today, a son that's 13, and a daughter that's 8 that's about to be 9. I don't know if you have children or not, but I wonder if there is, if we're just too busy. and like this like constant motion that we're in, where it's ball games and it's school and it's extracurricular activities, and I guess I'm aging myself a little bit here, but it's like the ability to just go be a kid and to go play with others in the neighborhood and be outside. I'm wondering if we have robbed, either intentionally or unintentionally, some of our kids of a more innocent childhood than maybe we had growing up.
Oh, absolutely. We overschedule kids beyond imagine. So it's really unreal what kids and their schedules can look like. I actually was having this conversation with my daughter last night, and she was talking about all the things that kind of, in a sense, get overwhelming, and trying to navigate that. And so having downtime and learning how to be bored, I mean, that's a skill in life, and that's one that they're not learning. Learning how to be alone, learning how to deal with downtime. And that's really when we regulate our emotions. And so they're not learning those skills that they definitely need in their life.
It's that's sometimes hard to say out loud, because I think as parents we don't use what I say is the most difficult word in the English language to use, and that's no, often enough. I don't like saying no to my kids. I don't like saying no when my wife and I are having conversations. That's a weakness for me.
Right.
Is that the biggest issue? Is like we've got to learn how to say no and reclaim some of our time?
I think that is a critical point, and that the ability to, I see it as setting boundaries. Like you're setting kind of safety nets around the kids when you do say no. So it's not necessarily that you are taking something from them, but you have to look at it as I'm giving something to them, right? So to say no to one thing is saying yes to another. And so what I'm saying yes to is more family time or more downtime for you. And really helping them learn to cherish that as well. So not just having it, but talking about it with them. That's I think that they need to be able to understand the importance of that, and that happens through those conversations with them.
What about the role that parents play in trying to be a friend versus trying to be a parent?
I think that can be a very difficult line to walk. And you just said you have a 16-year-old today. Happy birthday! And
Thank you.
It's some difficult times, yeah. And so you want to be a person that they come and talk to, right? You want to have that open communication. You want to create an atmosphere to where you are not constantly on them and jumping down their throat. And so that's important to create that atmosphere, but you can't be a person that's just going to say yes to everything. You have to be able to, it's not about, parenting is not about making them happy. It's about helping guide them to make healthy decisions for themselves. And that comes from modeling from us. And so if we are not able to say no and use those words, we teach them also to not use those words. And so that becomes a huge detriment to them moving forward.
Dr. Leah Claire Bennett with Pine Grove Behavioral Health and Addiction Services. I appreciate your time this morning. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's good, I think, that we're talking about this, and hopefully we can continue that with you in the near future. I appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Richard. You have a great day.
You as well. Mornings with Richard Cross, presented by Community Bank. We're back after this.
From the Venable Glass Traffic.
It's time to get real.
Keeping it real
It's time for you to get real with it.
and keeping it Mississippi. Your voice for statewide and national politics.
Yes!
Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Glad to be with you, and my thanks to Dr. Leah Claire Bennett for joining us. An insightful conversation. May Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to try to shine a light on mental health awareness and the conversation that surrounds that issue or those issues. And Really, really appreciate her insight. Good stuff. Good stuff there. Alongside Lance Tolbert, I'm Richard Cross. Glad to be with you. SuperTalk Mississippi is hitting the road later this week. Join us live on Thursday from the Pearl River Resort in Philadelphia from 10 until 6. A full day of coverage as we highlight the incredible partnership between the Mississippi Farm Bureau and the Mississippi Food Network through their Farmers Feeding the Hungry initiative. Middays with Gerard Gibbert and Sports Talk Mississippi will be broadcasting from the heart of Philadelphia Thursday, May 7th. Keep listening. Super Talk Mississippi will have you covered for a full day of inspiration, information, and celebration with the home team at Mississippi Farm Bureau. One other thing to know that is going on this weekend, biggest event of the year on the coast is happening. CPR Fest is this Saturday at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, a full day with a lot of great rock bands headlined by Stained. Tickets going fast. You can grab yours now by going to Ticketmaster.com. If you ever listen to our friend Lars Larson Show, which airs most weekday nights from 6 until 9 right here on Super Talk Mississippi, you know that Lars has a saying that he has used for years and years and years, where he says naysayers go to the front of the line. His premise there is if you disagree with what he is talking about, want to talk to you, want to hear from you, and come with some points. Come with valid points to continue the discussion. So I am going to borrow, not because I want to amplify this message and not because I want to just dismiss Lee in Philadelphia out of hand for his opinions, but because this is very much a naysayer point of view to the conversation. The problem is with Lee's messages, I don't know that I'm going to read all of them because there are a bunch here, but part of the problem with what Lee says is that his arguments are not based in fact. He wants to accuse of agenda-driven radio without being able to back it up factually. So I mentioned a second ago Chinese propaganda, Chinese influence through online activity primarily as working to create division with us in the United States, specifically with us in Mississippi. And I pointed to some very specific examples of that and actually have the data to back it up. Well, Lee disagrees with that. And he says this: the Chinese don't distort our information. The Jewish-owned media outlets, like the one you work for, do that. Quit lying to the people of Mississippi, Richard. You work for a propaganda outlet. I know it, and you know it. Blacks and white Mississippians alike are tired of Jewish-influenced media outlets like SuperTalk stoking racial hatred in our state. I see through your smoking mirrors. Well, one point that I would make there is the phrase is smoke and mirrors, the idea that you can take those two things and you can distort. It's not actually smoking mirrors. But I digress. The first thing that I would say to you is it is news to me, and I have worked for and with SuperTalk since the fall of 1999. So closing in on 30 years. Oh, 19. Yeah, closing in on 30 years that I have been with this company. It is news to me that we are a Jewish-owned media outlet. I am, I know my bosses well. I guess I've got layers of bosses. Lance, we have layers of bosses.
Yeah, we have a few layers. Oh, excellent at what they do.
Steve Davenport is the owner of our company. Kim Dillon is the president and CEO of our company. Will East is our program director. He's my direct boss, direct report. We've got in-house legal counsel, in-house CFO, in-house human resources department. And I actually don't just work under these people. I know these people. And beyond having a positive working relationship with them, in a lot of cases, I have what I think I would call a friendship. And in knowing these people, I actually know for a fact that none of them are Jewish. And so the premise, Lee, that we are a Jewish-owned and influenced media company is simply false. So your entire premise is inaccurate. Now, let me address another point that you make. You say you work for a propaganda outlet. No. I don't think that we are a propaganda outlet. I will be more than happy to admit to you that SuperTalk Mississippi is the home of conservative talk radio. But I will tell you that I have never been in a meeting with any of my previously mentioned bosses where I have been told you will talk about this or you won't talk about this. In fact, quite the opposite. We have editorial conversations from time to time. We talk about how we want to address specific issues as a company, individually. We have a weekly staff meeting where all of our on-air people are come together, and we make sure that we're kind of all on the same page in terms of, okay, what are the big stories that are affecting the state of Mississippi? What are the things that are happening nationally or internationally that are affecting us in North Mississippi, in coastal Mississippi, in the Pine Belt, in the Jackson metro area, in DeSoto County, in Northeast Mississippi? And we really work, and to me, that is the thing that is unique with all of our shows, whether you're talking about mornings or middays or even Sports Talk Mississippi. We have a goal to make the conversations that we are having here relevant to Mississippians. Years ago, when I was involved with starting Sports Talk Mississippi, before that it was Head to Head, we went with the idea that if you want to hear about the New York Yankees, there are a million places that you can hear about them, read about them, watch about them. But there are precious few places where you can get information on a daily basis that is focused on Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Southern Miss and the Southeastern Conference. And so we want to provide that to the listeners because that's what we believe is what our listeners care about most of all. There are plenty of outlets where you can get nothing but national stories. And so one of the things that I try to do in our conversations, if we are talking about a national story, is always find a way to bring it back to Mississippi. How does it affect us in our day-to-day lives? That's been my goal. And Lee, if you just started listening, welcome aboard. If you're a longtime listener, thanks for being with us. I think, and if I'm not succeeding in this, I'll continue to work on it. But the way that I have approached the issues that we are talking about in Mississippi have been to, let's lay out all the sides. Whether it's school choice or redistricting or SNAP error rates or whatever. And let's look at all the sides of the story, and let's talk about it. I get the impression, Lee, that maybe you kind of hear what you want to hear, and your accusation of us being a Jewish-supported media outlet and the idea that China is not involved in propaganda that comes right here to Mississippi is actually you being very myopic and you being very tunnel vision in the way you see the world less than it is us.
From the Seabrook.
From breaking news to bold opinions, Richard dives into the stories shaping Mississippi and the nation. Now back to Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
We got about half an hour left, a little less than half an hour left with you on this Tuesday morning. I appreciate you joining us. Whether you agree or disagree, thanks for being part of the conversation on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. If you want to accuse me of propaganda, C Spire is probably the place to start. But it's not propaganda. It's a company that I believe in. Yes, we have a relationship, and we have had a relationship for a long time, and I'm thankful for that. But I am also a C Spire customer, not just a spokesman for them. I have lost track of how many C Spire devices rest under our roof every night. We've got phones, we've got watches, we've got fiber to the home internet. We use C Spire Business Solutions in my wife's businesses. And we do it for a pretty simple reason. It's because the product is great and the service is even better. You don't have to take my word for it, though. Check them out yourselves. See the plans that are available. See the products that they have available. If you've got a business and you're not using C Spire, it's worth a try. I think that you will be pleased, as I have been as well. So, if I am a propagandist, it is probably for C Spire.
Hey, man, I got one thing. I love the way you pulled out the Cy Sperling Hair Club for Men. I'm not just the spokesman, I'm also a client.
Yes.
Love it, dude. That's 1982 brought back to life. Thank you.
Yeah, glad that I could do that. Hey, you can learn more at cspire.com. C Spire, customer inspired.
Hey, I want to say one thing. I wake up for this every day, guys. So y'all keep it coming. This is awesome. I love the interaction. Please tell us what you think. That's what we're here for. Yeah. Our skin is thick. I love the comment in there. Remind Richard that sports is easier. But let me tell you something that ain't near as fun as this. I tell you, man, this is you can't get a better job.
I like it all. I mean, I'll just go full on Southern Golly.
Well, Wilbur.
No, I just mean like in terms of, Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
And his speech at Yankee Stadium, where today, I am the luckiest man. Yeah, the echo, luckiest man in the world. I don't know if I'm the luckiest man in the world, but I'm going to tell you, I love what I get to do. To visit with all of you on a daily basis, to talk about the issues that matter here in Mississippi, to get to still kind of live in the sports world as well, and to... Dr. Leah Claire Bennett might say, yeah, Richard, you got too much on your plate, and probably she would be right in that assessment, but to get to try and balance all of those things while still getting to be a dad and be involved in my kids' lives and be excited about the things that they're excited about, to get to be a husband to Jane, who is just the best. For me, anyway. And her successes and share all of that, man, I am, my cup runneth over. And I would like to say that I don't take for granted how fortunate, I think I am in terms of family and work and trying to balance all of those things and make them all work together. But I probably do. I probably do take that for granted. I think most of us honestly take those things for granted. But it is a pleasure for me. I said Joe DiMaggio. Is it Lou Gehrig?
Think so.
My bad. My apology for mixing up the greatest Yankees. You know, there's
Lou
so many
DiMaggio,
of them.
as we say.
Somebody said, was it Lou DiMaggio? Yeah, we'll go with Lou DiMaggio. I can't believe I did that. Of course it was Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig. Do you see the story that Medicaid is deferring $91 million toward Minnesota? It was Dr. Oz that made that announcement over the weekend. He and J.D. Vance have worked in conjunction on some of the fraud issues. Dr. Oz posted over the weekend, today CMS notified Governor Walz in the state of Minnesota that we are deferring an additional $91 million in federal Medicaid funding. This follows a pattern that we can't ignore, from the, quote, Leering Center, close quote, scandal to the recent DOJ action involving child care centers. Minnesota's Medicaid program has shown serious vulnerabilities to fraud. These are not isolated breakdowns. They point to systemic issues that must be addressed. The reality, the federal government funds roughly half of Medicaid. That gives CMS both the authority and the responsibility to ensure those dollars are spent legally and appropriately. When they're not, we act. Earlier this year, we deferred over $250 million. And they've added $91 million to that. So $341 million in Medicaid payments deferred to the state of Minnesota. Of the $91 million deferred, $76 million tied to 14 service categories highly vulnerable to fraud. $14 million involves program integrity concerns. And he points to the role that J.D. Vance is playing in that operation as well. It's not just Minnesota. It's really not just Minnesota. I mentioned this earlier. Iran is at a place where they've got to make a decision. You got the announcement that the United States would be escorting ships in and out and through the Strait of Hormuz. And yesterday you had the Iranians firing on vessels in the Strait. UAE being fired on again. And it appears as if the president is practicing some restraint right now. There are substantive talks that are trying to end this conflict with Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. And they are seemingly productive. And there certainly has been progress. But if Iran during this ceasefire is going to start firing on boats either that are American or are tied to Americans, you leave the President of the United States with little choice but to respond and to react. And you have had a few people high in the military that have said, this ceasefire, though it wasn't the intent, has given the United States the ability to absolutely reload its weapon stockpile. Now, Iran perhaps has been able to do some of that themselves, but not nearly to the level that the United States. We've got 15,000 troops in the region right now that are going to be part of this escorting of ships in and out of the Strait of Hormuz. Thomas, I do think there's some truth to the message that you send. He goes, Iran doesn't have to make a decision. I think we underestimate what they're willing to lose and how little they value human life. Oh, I think there's a great deal of truth to that, and it's something that we've talked about as well. And one of the points that I saw that was made in this conversation in urging restraint from the United States is, hey, you got different factions that are involved here. You have a part of the Iranian faction that does seem to want the war to end, is relying heavily on Pakistan to be the mediator between the United States and whatever the leadership is with Iran. There were some kind of coded posts on X yesterday that suggest that there are Gulf states that are about to assist the Iranians in the overthrow of the government. I don't know if that's going to happen, what that's going to look like. But make no mistake, what Thomas says is right when he says that when you talk about the IRGC and the clerics, their belief system in life is so different than anything that I think we can relate to at all. It makes it really hard to go, they don't care if they get bombed again. It makes it hard for us to understand that line of thinking. They don't care if 3,000 more people die, or 30,000, or 300,000 more people die, because they believe they are on this holy pursuit and it's what they're called to do, and this incredibly distorted view through their radical Islamic beliefs. I'm not talking about fundamental Islam. We're talking about radical Islam. And it's scary to deal with somebody like that, especially if they just don't care. We're back after this to wrap it up.
From the Venable Glass Trap.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
On with the show.
Is back.
Holy smokes.
On SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Dynamite's in the belfry, baby. Playing with the bats. Little guns downtown in front of Woolworths. Trying out his attitude on all the cats. Papa's on the corner.
Great meeting with you on this Tuesday edition, May 5th, of Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi. Appreciate you being along for the ride. We have covered some ground this morning. It's been fun, and we'll do it again tomorrow, starting just after 6 o'clock. Have you seen this story? Rick Cleveland wrote a pretty good column about the Makoba brothers. Makoba brothers from the Congo. Rick writes this: President Trump carried coastal Mississippi's Hancock County in the 2024 election by a nearly 4-1 margin. That doesn't mean the county's largely conservative citizenry supports everything about Trump's ICE deportation policy. In particular, Hancock Countyans were appalled when Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents detained Israel and Max Makoba, Hancock High students from the Republic of Congo, as the teens waited for a school bus on April 21st. Agents handcuffed and separated the brothers, who've been in the United States more than 2 years, saying their student visas had expired. ICE sent Israel, the young man, not the country, who turned 18 in March, to a detention center in Louisiana, sent the 15-year-old Max into custody in Houston, Texas. But Hancock County rallied around these two young men, and the Hancock County School District rallied around them, and so did our federal delegation. Mike Ezell represents that part of the state of Mississippi in the House of Representatives. Cindy Hyde-Smith, one of our two state senators, came to the aid of these two young men. Hancock High history teacher Stacy Campbell said it this way: this isn't a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. This is a human life thing. These are wonderful, intelligent young men deep in their Christian faith. They've touched a lot of lives. They deserve the best. As I understand it, they have been returned to their legal guardians in Hancock County and were celebrated by the community in their return. Back in school this past Friday at Hancock High, where fellow students were thrilled to welcome them. Israel, now a senior, received his cap and gown that he will wear for graduation ceremonies on May 22nd. Both of them are honor roll students. And so you had common sense that came in, as I understand it. And Lance, you may have to help me on this, and we can talk more about this tomorrow if we need to. It was about the visa responding. I'm sorry, about the visa issue and about maybe moving a hand. There are layers to this story. Israel Makoba must still wear an ankle monitor, wore at school on Friday. Didn't talk a whole lot about it. And they are not all that much. But the guardians for these two young people are the Baptiste family. And they have helped over 100 foreign students, mainly Africans, come to the United States for better opportunities for education. Gail Baptiste said the Makobas are the first foreign students to live with them. The teenagers' family cannot come to the United States to check on them because the Republic of Congo is part of the travel ban that was put in place last July. This had to do with a transfer, at least in part, from Piney Woods to Hancock High School that changed some of the status that was involved. Anyway, I would encourage you to read the story and kind of check it out. This is it's a bit of a homecoming story for a couple of young men who are trying to do things the right way while they're in the United States and were caught up in the snare of the immigration mess that exists. And it is a mess, right? I mean, you have this dichotomy of illegal immigrants and those who are here legally and those who are trying to do the right way. And I think most people, not all, but most people would say that the United States is a place for immigrants if it is done the right way, if it is done legally, if you have people who are coming and are contributing and are ingratiating themselves into our culture and our way of life and want to be part of this. Mose says, so you're saying if you're an honor student, you can transfer schools and move without notifying the State Department and overstay your visa? No, Mose. Don't put words in my mouth. Please don't. I'm not saying that everything in their situation was handled perfectly. I am saying you do have what appears to be two remarkable young men who are good students, who are living with a family in Mississippi and are contributors to society and are maybe the best of what immigration represents, and a community that is very conservative came together to stand up for them. And I think that's kind of cool. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.